Hi, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Absolutely Bookkeeping Podcast. Today I'm joined by Ruth Cringle. Ruth, can you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about you and your clients?
Yeah,
Your
of course.
business?
So I'm Ruth Cringle. My business is Admin Elite. I started it in 2014. I had a history in sort of finance, tech support, and manufacturing before starting my business. So I was the PA to the chairman at Toyota Manufacturing, and I wanted to use those skills to help small businesses. So initially started as a virtual assistant, and then kind of got using Xero, fell in love with Xero, and that kind of took me down the bookkeeping route. So then in 2018, qualified with the ICB, and I've been sort of doing all my training ever since. And this year I got my level 4 with them.
Perfect. So is that how you started your journey? What made you fall in love with becoming in kind of our industry? What made you become your admin and bookkeeper? Was it the fact that you were this before, or did you fancy
Yeah,
actually being self-employed and work for yourself?
yeah. Well, basically, I had a bit of a hissy fit and walked out of a business one day and told them where to stick their job. And 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 then I'd been looking at the empty offices across the road for a few days beforehand. It had all been kind of building up, and I was thinking, I don't need to be here in this office to do this work. I know traditionally you come into the office to do the work, but I didn't need to because the people that own the business were hardly ever there anyway. I used to just sort of spend a lot of time on my own. So I thought, what if I could help businesses with their admin without working for them?
Yeah.
And then obviously as I researched it, I found out about virtual assistants. So I started my business as a virtual assistant, and then like I say, I kind of got using Xero, fell in love with it, and then people kept saying, well, can you help me with my Xero? And I'm a bit of a stickler for the rules, so I thought, well, I better do the training in bookkeeping if I'm going to be looking at people's business data. And now I just love it. I just absolutely love bookkeeping. I just, instantly fell in love with it. And I do accounts as well. I go in and I help an accountant on a Thursday file accounts. So
Perfect. So what is the one word that you can describe your relationship with technology in your business at the moment?
I'm a tech geek.
I like
If
that.
there's a bit of tech, I want to have a go and I want to use it and I want to try and break it. Um, I'm obsessed with tech. If
Cool.
there's, like I say, if there's something new, I want to have
Yeah,
a go. I want to get my teeth in it and I want to try and, how does
yeah,
this benefit me? How does this benefit my clients?
yeah,
Sorry, I didn't touch on my clients. My clients tend to be limited businesses,
yeah,
turnover sort of 1 million plus.
yeah,
Um, so there's a lot of high volume of work. So I always want to find the technology to help them, and I'm
yeah,
always looking at how to improve processes. And I think that comes from working at Toyota, the continuous improvement, and always looking at ways to try and fix things and
yeah,
help.
yeah.
So yeah, really passionate about technology. And
So let's talk about your favourite. What is the Apple software you simply could not run your business without? I think you
Xero.
touched on it. Yeah, you touched on it. Xero.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've
So
I've not.
how did you so let's go. How did you discover it? Was it a game changer from day one, or kind of a slow burner that you took a while to get used to it?
Well, I was using it before I became a bookkeeper. So
Yeah,
I started networking, and the people that I was networking with were accountants. And they said, oh, you need to get onto Xero. You've got a business, you need to get onto Xero. So I got onto it. And then I just found it really simple. I'd tried Sage before, and I couldn't get on with that. And I tried cash flow when I worked in another business. I couldn't really get on with that. But Xero just seemed to make sense. And so I just really liked it from that point of view, that it was just really simple. So did the training, didn't quite understand the training before I qualified, but now I've qualified, I do understand it. But I just love the fact that you can integrate so much software in with it as well. And it's just, couldn't live without Xero.
so what are the key problems that Xero has solved for you? Obviously, like you say, you've mentioned it attaches to a lot of key apps that will make it kind of more powerful than it is. But what are the kind of the key problems that Xero has solved for you?
Really, it's just a time-saving tool. It's just very easy to see the data, and the fact that they've now got add-ons that are part of the Xero package. I mean, they own HubDoc now. I'm not a massive fan of HubDoc. I don't think it's quite got the functionality. I don't think they've quite put the investment into it. But now, if you're on the Grow plan, you can actually use Sift, which is helps you with your management reporting and sort of really drilling down that data. So I think the fact is they grow and they're taking on other businesses as well. They're just offering more functionality for people
Yeah.
to use.
Yep. And are you a Xero only practice? Is Xero your key software that you put all your clients on? Do you prefer that
Yeah,
one? Yeah.
yeah, I am. I mean, I've got clients in the accounting practice that use QuickBooks,
Yeah.
and it's okay, but I don't quite understand it as much. And then I've tried one of the free ones, which has gone out of my head, and I don't like that so much. For
Yeah.
me, it is Xero. I don't insist, if somebody comes to me and they use something else, I will have a go, but I'd much prefer Xero, really.
Are there any clever automations or tips that you've set up with Xero to make your life easier and your client's life easier? So
Just turning on the functionalities like the cash coding and
yeah,
the markers reconciled. So just the little things in there that people don't always know about. So if you know something's been reconciled but it's not done it automatically, you can obviously just click it to
yeah,
say it's been reconciled. And then cash coding is a massive time saver because I have a client that puts a lot of transactions through PayPal.
yeah,
Um, so you get like a massive list of like 70, 80 transactions, and just to be able to click the button,
yeah.
because the rules already set up to say that these are PayPal fees and these are sales, it's just absolute time saver.
Brilliant. So that's a good lead on to my next question. Has it helped you scale, save time, or even keep your own sanity?
Yeah. Yeah, it has. Just as I've been using it over the years and I've learnt tips and tricks and things,
Yeah,
it does really help. And there's something they introduced a couple of years ago, and it's such a simple thing, but other bookkeeping softwares don't seem to have it. So you're in a line and you've got several transactions that you just want to total up. You can just add, and
yeah,
it's really simple, but it just works, and it just
yeah,
saves so much time than sort of coming off and getting the calculator out and whatnot. So it's just
yeah,
brilliant. Or there's one client, and it's a dental practice, and they have to split it between the four people in the practice. So
yeah,
just to get that total sum and then just divide by four, it's
yeah.
just it's just easy. It's just
Time
great.
savers. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Are there any common mistakes you've seen other bookkeepers make with using Xero that you can probably give them some advice at the moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
um, I see. Yeah, I do see quite a lot of mistakes. Just not matching things correctly.
Yeah,
Um, and then I actually did some work in an accounting firm. I was helping them out, and they just didn't use Xero to its full functionality. They didn't,
yeah,
because I use the stuff, I use Dex to
yeah,
import all the invoices and whatnot, and they weren't doing that. They had somebody sort of manually putting it in and then writing the number on the invoice and then
yeah,
putting that into Xero, and it was just like, what are you doing? So I kind of said, why don't you use this piece of software? Puts it all in for you. And he was just kind of like, why would I when I can pay an
yeah,
apprentice? And it's just like, okay, that's fine. That's where your mindset is. My mindset is over here. So we're just not on the same path. So yeah, just not using it uh, in my mind properly, not using it to its full functionality, just
yeah.
making everything flow together.
Perfect. And if you had a magic wand and you could change just one thing about it, what would you improve?
I'd make it free.
Yeah. No more price increases. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd keep the prices as they are and stop increasing them. But I mean, obviously, it's free for me as a user anyway,
Yeah.
for my practice. But people are very. It's amazing. People do sort of niggle over the small things. So I would, I'd keep it at a basic rate for clients, really. They do tend to do the price increases, and they have shot up quite a lot over the years, but then they have invested in lots of other businesses, so you can kind of see why they do that, really.
So is this software that you would say you'd recommend to everybody to use, all bookkeepers and virtual assistants to use?
I would, but everybody's different, and I know people. You tend to have your camps, don't you? You have your QuickBooks
Yeah.
fans and you have your Xero fans, and I think it depends what you start with. And I started with Xero, so I find it difficult to use something else. But I know other people know QuickBooks inside out. I know another bookkeeper that would never stray from Sage, and obviously being with the ICB, you have to train on Sage, and apparently I'm a super user or whatever, but I really struggle with Sage.
Have you paired Xero with other tools to supercharge it? You've already mentioned Dex and obviously Sift. Have you actually paired with other software to sort of supercharge it?
All sorts of software, yeah, because I have a lot of clients that do online sales, so I use Link My Books
Yeah.
to link a lot of the online sales. I also use the Dex Commerce, which used to be called Greenback, because one client has a lot of sales not on the high street, and Link My Books don't do that, so I have to use Dex Commerce for that, which I don't find as good as Link My Books. I think Link My Books are phenomenal and their support is amazing. It's just really good. So yeah, I use Xenon Connect as well to sort of check my data, check what I'm putting in is okay. And I think Xenon Connect is amazing because it shows you the transactions and it shows you the health of the transactions. And I think it's absolutely fantastic what Gareth's produce there. It's really good. And then, like I say, Sift, I've just started to use Sift. I'm trying to break it at the moment, and just to get those management reports and sort of drill down in the data. And it's just it's fantastic bit kit. It really is. Really love it.
Apart from Xero, what are your 3 top apps that you go to in your app stack?
So I'd say Link My Books, Dext, and I have to use HubDoc reluctantly, but I do I do use HubDoc. Sorry,
Okay.
HubDoc.
How often do you review your apps in your tech stack? Do you do it frequently? Do you do it as when an issue arises, or is it something that you never do?
No, I do review frequently. I frequently go into the group you used to run, Natasha, and just see what other people are using. So I've just started using Engager. I think it was Kirsty that recommended that. So I'm looking at that at the moment. I'm just starting to get clients onto that, and again, just trying to see if I can break it. And yeah, so I always go into that group. I like to see what other people are using, and basically, I've picked up the software just from that group. I think it's a fantastic group. So, and I've recommended it to accountants and say, look, these people are using this software. They say this about it. Do you want to try using that? So I got the accountant onto accountancy manager, as was. It's Bright something now. But just from the recommendation in the group was so I like to see what people are using. If I've not used it, have a go.
Perfect. So what is your piece of advice for bookkeepers who feel overwhelmed by all the software choices out there? We all go to events, we all see these bright, fantastic new software. What would be your key piece of advice? Because it can be quite overwhelming with all the choices out there.
It can be really overwhelming. So just do what suits you, do what helps you, because I have gone, oh, shiny new thing, I must try it. But then when you come back from somewhere like XeroCon or the Accountex or something like that, you're so overwhelmed with all the information that's happened. And you get really excited and like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But then when you get back into the office, you don't actually have time to do that. And you don't actually have time to put that in place. So it's just try and think what's going to help you in your business, what you need to solve at the moment, and focus on that piece of software if you can.
Okay. So now we've come to the part where we do the quick fire round. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Quick cup of tea.
And these should be very self-explanatory after what you've just already mentioned. So I'm going to say iPhone or Android?
Oh, iPhone.
Xero, QuickBooks or Sage?
Xero.
Coffee or tea?
Oh, well, I would have always said tea, but I went to Europe this year and they didn't serve tea, and I've just started drinking coffee again. So, but I would say tea is a priority.
Cool. Okay, so what would be the one piece of tech or business of wisdom you wish you'd learnt earlier?
Business wisdom, trust your gut,
Yeah.
definitely. I have bent over backwards to help people when I've got a feeling in my stomach, and I
Yeah.
wish I'd listened to that feeling in my stomach. If you sense something's off, be strong and don't pursue that client or don't accept that client. Because in every single case where I've had a little bit of a funny feeling, we've ended up parting ways. So trust your gut if you can.
I can
It's
100%,
hard.
I can 100%
It's
back that one up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard, and I've had some stinker of a conversations with clients, but you've got to trust your gut.
Yeah. And my final question for you today, Ruth, is what app do you think is underrated and deserves a little bit more love?
I'd say Dext gets a hard time, or Receipt Bank as it was. A lot of people complain about it and say it's too expensive and they're leaving it, but its functionality is amazing. The fact that it can do so many things, it can split lines, it can, for a certain percentage of an invoice is that, it can do all that for you. You can, get your bank statements. You can now do it for sole traders. They put a lot of money into Dext, and I do think it's well worth it. And I know a lot of people prefer to move on to something else. I did look at Apron, but at the time it didn't have what I wanted. So at the moment, I'm still stuck with Dext. I just love it. I think it's great.
Brilliant. And that concludes this episode. So thank you very
Oh,
much, Ruth.
thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thanks for everybody for listening. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks.